And a lot of people say this phrase, that person made me so mad. It's like, no, they didn't. You made yourself mad.
Right.
Like you took whatever they did that you didn't like, and you attached mad to that. Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk. Well, hello.
Hi, Mr. Jason.
Hello, Mr. Craig.
Are you fixing to do some coffee talk?
I'm just going to toffee clock.
Toffee
Clock. It is coffee talk. So I wanted to kind of piggyback off of the last conversation. It made me think. You were talking about Brian Johnson.
BJ.
Yeah, BJ. And terrific title, by the way, on that. And we were talking about, help me out here, specifically.
Well, yep. We were talking about positivity. No, that was in line because we're talking about Eckhart Tolle and the long pause. So that's good that we had the long pause. It's a callback. Hey-o.
So that made me start thinking about how do we reset that? And we brought up the old TR on that about Tony Robbins and about what he was saying about positivity. But also he does this cool thing in the morning. I think he calls it 3 to Thrive. And I might have brought this up before, but I love doing this. And I'm not going to remember it all, but it's basically he takes a moment in the morning where he thinks of 3 situations that he is grateful for.
Oh, yeah.
And he puts himself in those, he meditates on it, puts himself in those situations. It tries to smell, feel, taste, and everything of that situation. And so that you really start resetting the brain. And then he does that for 3 situations. And then he'll do, 3 things that he's grateful for, 3 situations. He does 3 outcomes that he wants for the day and puts himself in those places of exactly what it will feel like, what it'll be like at the end of the day when he achieves those things and everything. And it makes it real. And then that becomes the focus of the day. And what that other conversation made me think about is there's so many times that we have a bad day or something happened. Well, you could be having a great day, right? All of a sudden somebody cuts you off and you're like, mother, blah, blah, like that, and then you're all upset and it kind of shifts you sideways when it's like, dude, you were just in a great mood. Like all this great stuff's happening. I mean, and if you think about it, I mean, we are in the US and I know there's a lot of bad news out there, but dude, we're in the US. Like we're in a first world country. Yeah. America. I mean, if we're insurance agents, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of the most recession-proof.
It's one of the most prestigious professions.
Sure. Yeah. And you have to be able to even be in that position is pretty crazy. And I think a lot of people, when you think about it, are you grateful for, oh yeah, I am grateful for. So, but why don't we think about this on a regular, like we're so above needing to complain about anything. Like we shouldn't, right? We have so many blessings in our life that we should never get sideways.
Do you know how many millions, if not 100 millions, if not billions of people don't have running water? Just running water in their house, right? Imagine your day if you had no running water. Like, those times when you turn the water off because you don't ever work on anything at your house, but pretend that you're working on something at your house and the water was off and you go to turn it on because it's just natural. You don't even think about it and nothing comes out. You're just like, whoa. And that's 5 minutes versus your entire life. Like it's crazy, right? So
it is crazy.
We do have it really good. And I love that, like what he does. And we've talked about this before, where you have these neural pathways, right, in your brain, and you create these grooves, right? Habits create grooves, and the way that you behave creates these grooves, like literally grooves that the messages go in the brain. And so by becoming aware of those things and consciously changing them and changing those patterns, it redefines those grooves and like fills in the less optimal, let's call it, ones. And
labels.
But it smooths it, and then it creates the new groove. And so I have one. You brought up the traffic. It happens on occasion. If somebody's extremely insane, but I don't get upset. I used to get super pissed. Somebody cut me off, whatever. And I worked really hard on basically responding in any situation where somebody's driving like a jag off and cuts you off or does whatever, that I'll say, oh, they must be in a hurry. Like that's my little thing. I'll go, oh, they must be in a hurry. And then I'll focus on whatever else I was focused on. And it's amazing because instead of having that emotional reaction where you're just pissed all of a sudden, like I don't get mad in traffic. My wife, on the other hand, does.
Right.
Really pissed. She'll flip people off. She's crazy. I'm like, don't do that. You're going to get shot. But that's right there is being intentional about that and then resetting, like if reset that part, right?
Yeah.
Like the trillions of things in there. Well,
it's controllable. Right. That's what's crazy. It's controllable. And that gives you power. Because if you know that it's controllable, you have something that, you can change it. And a lot of people say this phrase, that person made me so mad. It's like, no, they didn't. You made yourself mad.
Right.
Like you took whatever they did that you didn't like, and you attached mad to that. Like they didn't make you mad. Maybe in that moment, it's like, maybe I shouldn't have trusted that person, or maybe I shouldn't have. Like, if you take the ownership of it, it's less, it makes you less mad, I guess, right? You got to just look at stuff that way. You got to look at stuff like that you have the control. And if you have the control, you can reset it. And I am far, far, far from perfect at it. But I do take those times. And there are some times that you want to wallow in stuff, right? It's like, I know, like I'm pissed or sad. And it's like, I need to really be thankful. And I know I'm thankful for this stuff, but you know what? Right. I'm feeling it. Like I'm just feeling it.
You'll sit in it, right? Like, okay, I'm upset about whatever. And it's like, you just want to, you're like, I'm not going to feel, your ego or whatever is telling you, you're not going to get better right now. So you just don't.
Well, I know that I'll be better if I make the decision to do it, but I'm like, no, I want to be in this place for some reason. It's something, I don't know if it's probably a comfortable thing, and it's practice, right? Because there's only certain times that I feel that way that I don't want to pull myself out of it, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, but that's good. That's first thing, is to be aware. And it is interesting. Think about, like, if you haven't gone to the gym and then thinking about going to the gym, you're like, it's going to be, you have, like, it's kind of the same thing. Or you wake up you wake up really early because you got a bunch of stuff to do. And you're like, the moment you wake up, you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. But right after you take action, you're fine, right? You get over the coffee thing, make the coffee in the awesome Prevail coffee machine, and it's then, okay, fine, you're going, right? But it's just that moment. And it's interesting because I think when you're upset, you do have the ability to move yourself out of that. And maybe, it's okay to be upset too, right? It's okay. It's an emotion. I mean, it's going to happen.
Right. It will happen.
What do you do with that emotion? Like, are you going to go blow up the building because you're so pissed? That's not a good response. But you can say, hey, I'm upset. Why am I upset? Oh, I'm upset because of this, X, Y, and Z. Okay, it's okay to be upset. And you kind of work through it and then go on.
Yeah. You have to change the mentality of, you don't want to sit in it.
Right.
It's like my kid's diapers.
The pity pot.
You don't want to sit in the diaper.
No. Why do you got to change it? Sit in it. Sir William, he likes to sit in his diaper.
I don't know. They don't like getting, my kids don't like getting cleaned up. Yeah.
Well, maybe they should just go sit on the toilet. Right.
It's true. Yeah. It's interesting.
Total digression and talking about little kids going poop. But when Kenzo, now he's 16.
Right.
When he was little, and I may have said this before, but it was so funny. When he was little, he finally started going, poop on the potty. He'd sit in there forever. So kind of like Dad. And then when he was done, he didn't want to be the wiper. He had to have, butler service. And so he would just yell at the top of his voice, I'm done. Like you could hear him outside. He would yell.
That's so good.
It was so great. I'm done. Like, come in here and take care of me.
That's so funny.
It's so easy to be a little kid.
It is.
Yeah. But, changing those things, it is, right? Awareness.
Yep.
Once you're aware, I don't know if we've played the Dr. Gleb episode yet, and you weren't here, but it was really cool because he has a framework to decision making. And it's real simple, right? Like it's like identify that you need to make a decision. And then it's like 8 steps. And they're all relatively simple that you could probably accomplish in 5 minutes. But it's the same thing, right? Like you could apply a framework to when you're upset. Like,
right.
1, recognize I'm upset. Why am I upset? Is it okay to be upset about this? And look, I just created a framework about solving being in a bad mood. But that's it, right? Like you just have to recognize, accept it, move on.
And it's important to be intentional about all that we do. We always say that with the agency and everything else. It's very important to be intentional, because if you're intentional, you can get to where you want to go. If you're not intentional, wherever you're going is where you're going to get. Like, you know what I mean? So I love that like even having a framework for the most simple thing, like in the morning, like I have a framework for the way I get ready, and I do some physical therapy stuff because I have to, because if I don't, my back's like, I can't walk. So I do this stuff, and then I keep adding weird stuff. I kind of do like a version of the 3 to Thrive. And then I added a couple weeks ago, this is very difficult, cold shower. You know how everybody jumps into the cold water to shock the body, give you energy and stuff?
TR does that. He has a little cold water hole in his yard.
Yeah. He said that he hasn't taken a warm shower, or he's done that every single day for the last 10 years. And
what
it keeps
when he's in Fiji?
Your cells going, and I guess he has it there.
Oh, he probably does. He probably has one in his helicopter.
Right. But yeah, so I started doing that, and boy, it's the worst going into it. He even said that it's the worst going into it every day.
Sucks. Like, it sucks.
It sucks, but man, dude, it gets you freaking going. Like
it is awesome after, like even during it's okay, right? Like
I'll scream a little.
The initial.
I'm in there.
You know, have you ever jumped off of something really high into the water?
Right.
Preferably the water. You don't want to do it other ways. But like, you know, you stand there and you just are like, 3, 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't go. And
that's what I do. I go 1,
the same
2,
thing.
and then I jump in it and go. And I'm like, wow.
I think I'd prefer to jump in the cold water than like stepping into the shower in the cold water. I just
It's gnarly, but it does. So then one of the days I did take a warm shower, and that's when the kids were sick, and I took a warm shower. I just wasn't in the mood. And I was like, wow, what a game changer.
That's slippery
on.
slope.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It was also at night, and I didn't want to get going. I wanted to be in relax mode. And then I started thinking, well, this makes this is the brain justifying thing. So then I said to myself, well, this does feel comfortable at night, and it makes sense because you want to go to bed. Sure. And then all of a sudden it pops in my head, maybe I should take showers at night. And I'm like, no,
right. Slippery slope.
No, Mr. Jason.
Right, Mr. Jason.
You're not getting out of doing that.
You get out of your warm shower, then you lay down, and Heather's going to give you a nice long massage, and every night, right?
What?
But you get.
I wish.
What you said, Mr. Jason?
Those are like dreams, dude.
Yeah. You know what a massage to me at my house is? If I go, oh, my back it's killing me. Can you please give me a massage? If it happens, it's about 10 seconds. Like, it's like, okay, fine. And then
one armed while the phone's in the other hand. And like, is that good?
I'm like, but if I give the massage, this thing has to last forever. Like, my hands hurt by the time.
Right.
There's a double standard.
And you know what? That's a coffee talk.
It's coffee.
Subscribe right now. Do it.
We're not going to get off here until you subscribe.
You do it right now.
Right now.
Push it.
Subscribe.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now. live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.